So, you know how I always say that Xbox does some good things and then they turn around and do things that are bad or that, doesn't make any sense. And this is exactly what I'm kind of talking about with that kind of stuff, And I just want to kind of point out, obviously, depending on what type of gamer you are, we're going to have maybe a different idea or different thoughts about, what's going on. And if this is a bad thing or not. Like for me, I think it's a bad thing. I'm never the type of person to just accept, something and just go, okay, well, that's the way the industry's going. Like I've never been that type of gamer. I've never been that type of person that just simply accepts that stuff. So, I know some people might, but for me, yeah, that's just not going to happen. And at the end of the day, I think that it just makes a lot of sense for people to kind of push back against this stuff. And maybe you'll agree, maybe you won't, but I'm interested to see what you guys think. I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I certainly appreciate it. It means a lot to me. If you guys could also hit the like button, share it out, and subscribe, that would be awesome as well. I do daily gaming content, so if you're looking for something that is, every day, fun yet informative, that's me. I give a very strong opinion. I stick to my opinions very much so. So, that's just something how I've always been. So hopefully you guys are into that. Now, let's go ahead and get started to this. So now there's two more first-party Xbox games that are getting a code in the box instead of a physical release, but yet the PlayStation version is getting physical releases. Yeah, this is kind of crazy. So it's been some controversy about Microsoft's decision to move to not only $80 game releases with the Outer Worlds 2, which is crazy to me because the first Outer Worlds, while many people consider that to be a big release, was actually a smaller release, and that is more of a double A type experience. It's not like a full-on like AAA or anything like that. Retail listings for both the Outer Worlds 2 and fellow Xbox Game Studios title Ninja Gaiden 4 have been spotted at Best Buy, and it's showing up as a code-in-the-box release only. Both titles display digital game code tag on the physical cover art, which is really kind of unfortunate. It's worth noting that this trend seemingly started earlier on, with Xbox's Avowed getting a similar download-only release for its physical Steelbook edition. So it's not sure if either the Outer Worlds 2 or Ninja Gaiden 4 are getting standard edition retail releases. We're only seeing the premium deluxe version at this time. As touched on in some recent things, Xbox are opening pre-orders up for its first $80 game. Xbox Game Pass, seems like this is the thing, right? So both these games, and even Gears of War, this new Gears of War remaster or whatever, are getting physical releases on PlayStation 5. They're only getting digital releases on Xbox, and everything Microsoft has released, like Avowed, South of Midnight, these are all just digital games. The point that I want to make is this. Let's say there's 15 million Xbox Series X owners out there. That means that Microsoft sold 15 million people a console with the ability to play games in a disk drive, and you're just completely ignoring them. What's that say for the future? Not only that, but it's like, I remember saying years ago that Microsoft was secretly trying to get people to switch over to like PC, and secretly trying to get people to get the Game Pass, and I know what people go, well, Microsoft really wants people to get games however they want, but here's the thing with that, right? Microsoft prefers Game Pass because you don't own anything. They control everything. You can't trade in Game Pass. You can't play Game Pass offline. They have total control over everything you do. And yeah, you still have the option right now to buy games, but your only option is to buy their stuff digitally. And they're really trying to get people to transition, because in the future, think about this, and this is where I think things get kind of murky, because I think most people agree that companies want the future to be streaming only, right? That way everything is controlled by them, 100% controlled by the companies. You can't trade that, you can't play that offline, you can't mod that, you can't sell it, you can't you can't cheat, you can't do, you know what I mean? They want streaming only. The problem with streaming only is, right, nobody's going to pay $80 or $100 for the rights just to stream one game. So Microsoft is banking on services, right? So when you hear, when everybody heard that Obsidian's Outer Worlds 2 was going to be the first $80 game, everybody's like, well, Game Pass for me, right? That's not Microsoft wants that, right? That, I mean, you could look at this strategy that they're doing as a way that they're trying to get people to go to Game Pass over buying the games, right? And that's just the honest truth. At the end of the day, they want people to be a member of Game Pass rather than, say, buy a game or do it that way. I'm sure they don't mind selling games on PlayStation or whatever the case may be, but they still really honestly are just kind of out there to do things that that make them money. It's really, really honestly kind of upsetting. And I know what people are kind of saying because, well, Phil Spencer said this, right? And you can go back to February of 2024, right? Phil Spencer says Xbox is not dropping physical media, clarifies that the firm's strategy does not hinge on people moving all digital. That was just a year ago. And now Xbox physical gaming fans are frustrated. Xbox says they support physical, but it's getting harder and harder to believe that for fans of physical media, since Microsoft seems to be not offering physical versions of their own games. And that's a real shame, because I really do feel like gamers deserve that option. And at the end of the day, why not have an option? I think that's like, you've sold people onto something, so why not give them the option to be able to play the game how they want and be able to own the game if they want. And I get it that people will argue digital license, blah blah blah, right? I get it, because that's what people like to argue, because they stick up for these corporations that really don't give a crap about any of us, right? I totally get it, but at the same point in time, it's like I think you have to really understand that gamers deserve the both options. So again, we look at it, Microsoft could be like trying to lead people by a path, going, okay, $80 games, we'll make more money on the games that do sell, but also if people don't want to buy the games, guess what? They can just go to Game Pass and we make money. So they kind of, got you either way, and that's exactly what they want. It's unfortunate, but it's just the truth that they really only care about, kind of setting up this idea of services, because that's what Microsoft does. They want to sell people on services, and they want you to keep coming back and paying money to be able to, get these services. And that's, I think, that the big problem for me personally. It's just, I look at this and I go, man, this is really kind of annoying, because I like to buy games. Even if I buy digital, I'll often go back later on, if there's a game sale, and pick up the physical version of that too, because I like to actually own my games. And the problem is, even when Microsoft is putting out physical versions, like with Doom or whatever, there's no game actually on the disc. It's just a download or whatever. And these discs literally cost Microsoft, I think, like 7 cents, 10 cents or something like that. So it's not like it's a ton of money. So it is kind of a shame that, that this is happening, and I can see why people are upset. We'll see how this happens in the future, but at the same point in time, I don't understand why Microsoft shoots themselves in the foot, and they have all this stuff on record, and it's all Phil Spencer, where he comes out across very much as a liar, because he's like, oh yeah, we support physical. It's the same thing with like this whole strategy of just 4 games, right? Like, I mean, how many times has this guy been caught on the record lying? And I think everybody is starting to sort of notice that now, and that's just the way that it is. That's honestly, it kind of baffles me that anybody really kind of supports this guy anymore, in any kind of real way. Like I like Xbox, but I think they need new leadership. and they need new direction. I don't care if people think that's the way it's going. If that's not the way you're happy with things, then say something about it. That's how I look at things. So maybe you guys look at the things the same way as I do, maybe not, but let me know down below. I certainly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.